everyone, welcome back. It's Melissa. Today we're going to be talking about the new palette from Lorac called the Nude Necessities palette. It has very sleek packaging. It is a plastic compact with a great big mirror and 12 eyeshadows in there. And these are all nudes, as you can gather from the name of the palette, which is Nude Necessities. So the first thing I thought when I opened this is it almost looks to me like it's the Lorac take on the Naked Basics palettes that they have. And I have the Naked Basics too, and I'm just going to hold these up together so you can see. I don't know this for a fact, but it appears to me like they are using this almost as their version of the Naked Basics. It's full of just really good neutrals that you can use alone, or you could pair it with another palette that maybe doesn't have the good transition or highlight shades that you were looking for. So I think it looks to me like they were trying to make this like a complement to some of their other palettes that they have. So another palette that it kind of reminded me of when I opened it was the Tartelette palette, which has a similar kind of setup of naked nudes. However, this palette has a great more depth of range of colors than the Lorac palette does. So let's talk about what's in the palette. There are an equal number of shimmer and matte shades, and in the description on the website it does say 3 coordinated rows. So I guess they're thinking you're going to go use across one row. And they also talk about it being a cool, a neutral, and a warm row. So in theory there would be something here for everybody. Looking at this, I don't know if I could put together a look using one row. I just don't. It did not scream to me like the way the Tartelette palette screams to me, that you can just work from left to right and you've got a great look. So I do think that they're kind of trying to capitalize on a couple of different ideas, but I'm just not sure they're really quite hitting the mark. So let me just do some quick swatching for you in case you haven't seen this. So here is the top row, and here is the middle row, and here's the bottom row. Top, middle, and bottom. They have names? They do not. So I did use this for my eye look today, and I used this on my my lid, and then I went into this in my crease. I layered this over my crease. I think it wasn't getting the intensity I wanted, and I ended up down in this range here also for my crease. And I thought it came out nice. A nice, pretty, really natural look that would be appropriate for any office environment. You could pair it with anything. I kind of went nude all the way through, and I used the Tarte Exposed Blush and this NYX Butter Lipstick in the color Pops. But I think you could use this and pair it with a brighter cheek or a brighter lipstick because it's so natural looking. You wouldn't be competing for a look on your face. It would be nice background. So there are an equal number of matte and shimmer shades, but unlike the Pro palette where the top row is all matte and the bottom row is all shimmers, they're kind of mixed in, which I don't know how I feel about that. I really like that top row being all matte and the bottom row being all shimmers. So these two are shimmer shades, and these two are shimmer shades. And where's the last shimmer? Shimmer, shimmer, shimmer. Oh, this light brown. I guess this one is also a shimmer shade. I would have preferred it to be old girl. No new tricks for me. I really like the way the Pro palettes are laid out, where they have all of the mattes and all of the shimmers here. So that's just me. So how do I feel about this? I definitely need to play with this a little bit more, but my initial reactions are it's a lot of one note. I found it was hard to get the depth that I wanted at the corners of my eyes, or maybe even under my eyes. There was no real obvious kind of liner shade, whereas you definitely have that in this Tartelette palette. You have these all are very dark, very pigmented, and really show up. I do find these to be really natural. I almost wanted to say nude. They're almost nude. And that is what I think they were going for. So you need to keep that in mind when you're making a decision if this is a palette you're interested in. Do you like that almost no makeup look? Or where you work is a place that really frowns upon a lot of makeup, so you need to have very natural, almost nude looking makeup. It's almost like the no makeup look. And I actually think they might have said that in their description. So this is only available at Ulta. It's an Ulta exclusive. It's very nice. The quality of the shadows are nice. Some of them did kick up a little powder while I was using them, probably more so than I've ever noticed with any of the other Lorac powders. I was expecting this one to be a tiny bit more pigmented, but you know, this is me just slapping it on right out of the box. I really hadn't even swatched them. I just was like, okay, let's put a look together. So, you know, it was definitely a first impressions for me. I'm probably going to leave this out on my desk and use it this week a little bit and come up with a couple other different looks. I was really wondering if you could get a really dark look out of this using some of the darker shades. That's something I want to challenge myself with. So I also like that they offered a lot of different tones, you know, a cool tone, a neutral tone, and a warm tone. And I think that's really kind of a nice option to have in a palette, depending on what you're feeling that day. I do also feel like they swatched much deeper than they actually appeared on my eyes. So all things to consider. I wasn't wowed by this. I like a little bit more depth in the color eyeshadows that I use, but if you are someone who really likes a neutral eye, you would like this. I think my daughter would really like this. I think that she really likes to have a little bit of a more natural or neutral look on her eye. I like a little bit more color. So I think it's a little bit of preference, whether you like a little bit more color, a little depth of color. I do really feel like it is missing a dark, like, liner shade. Even this little Naked Basics palette has a really nice dark liner kind of shade, so that it makes this really a complete palette. I feel like this is missing that, and you would either have to add a liner, a gel liner, a pencil liner, or go into another shadow color. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm interested in hearing what you think of this new palette, if this is something you would be interested in, or if you think it's just a little too nude neutral for you, like a little more color, or you really like this. I'm curious to hear what you all think about it. So take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.